Hi everyone. This is an SAP training video, SAP FICO training. Within SAP FICO, there is fixed assets. Within fixed assets, there is master data. And today, the entirety of this video will cover the master data for fixed assets within SAP FICO. Today is October 29th, 2024, and this training is based on SAP S/4HANA 2020. Without any further delay, if these videos are helping you all with your SAP FICO training, please like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment in the chat. Let me know, how long have you been an SAP FICO consultant in terms of months or months and years? All right, let's get into it. We have a lot of data to cover here, a lot of information to cover here. As you all know, I like to format the information I provide you in question answer format. I'll ask questions and give you the answers to the questions, and hopes to help you retain the information better. Okay, let's do it. I imagine this video will be about an hour long. Okay, what are all of the subtopics for fixed asset master data? Screen layout, account determination, number ranges, user fields and asset supernumbers, asset numbers, subnumbers, and group numbers. What is asset master data organized into? Master records, asset subnumbers. When performing a greenfield implementation, how are assets migrated into SAP? Assets are prepared in an Excel file, then migrated to SAP. In a brownfield implementation, how are assets migrated into SAP? If no changes to the depreciation area are introduced, no changes to asset master data is needed. In a brownfield implementation, if new depreciation areas are created to use the increased flexibility of new asset accounting, how does that affect asset master data? Changes to asset master data is required. What is the main classifying object for assets? Asset class. What master data needs to be set up for asset class? Screen layout, account determination, and number ranges. All right, our focus now will be on screen layout. What are some of the asset master record tabs? General data, depreciation, time-dependent data. How are the fields that appear in the asset master records determined? Screen layout field status group is assigned to an asset class. Menu path to create screen layout. Financial accounting, asset accounting, organizational structures, asset classes, create screen layout rules. These are the standard screen layouts provided by SAP. They can be used directly, modified, copied, or new screen layouts can be created. The screen layout is created as a shell. You can create the company code and add a description. You can create the code and add a description. After you say company code so many times, it just kind of comes out. It is best practice for the screen layout code to match the asset class code. Talking about this code here. Let's copy a screen layout and change it to match our requirements. Here are our requirements. The asset name is machinery. The field is machinery serial number. The serial number must be a required entry. We want it so that if an asset is copied, the serial number will be copied along with it. And we want it so that if a sub number is created for this asset, it'll inherit the main number. All right, so click the gray box to select general machines, then click the copy icon. You're going to name the new screen layout 3200 machinery. Notice there's no 3200 machinery here. Okay. Now let's modify the rules for our copied screen layout, which is done in a separate configuration activity. Menu path to modify rules for screen layout. Financial accounting, asset accounting, master data, screen layout, define screen layout for master data. Select the define screen layout for asset master data option. Notice this is the same list of screen layouts that we were just at, except we have the new one here. This is where we modify the rules for our existing screen layouts. Note, you cannot create, copy, or modify the screen layout number or description here. Double click 3200 machinery. This screen displays the logical field groups. These groups correspond to the tabs in the asset master record. All of these are tabs in the asset master record. Each logical field contains multiple fields that logically belong together. For example, if we double clicked into posting information, we'd see capitalization date, acquisition date, and deactivation date, all of which are, uh, you know, posting information. Click the gray box to select general data. Then we're going to double click on field group rules, which will take us here. So for serial number, see serial number here, you want to select required, main number, and copy for our serial number. These are our business requirements. Why are we selecting this? Because this satisfies our business requirements. Now let's talk about it a little bit. I want you to note that every field has three options for required, optional, or hidden. All right, this master record, because this required button is selected, this master record cannot be saved unless a serial number is entered. Okay, regarding the main number, when this checkbox is selected, like we have it selected for serial number, it indicates that any subnumbers created for this field will receive the value for this field from the main number. Okay, regarding this copy checkbox, when selected, the value of this field will be transferred when copying an asset. Just a note here, in other logical groups, fields can be modified in similar fashion to meet business requirements. Another configuration activity governs which fields are selected for the depreciation tab in the asset master record. So here's the menu path to configure fields in the depreciation tab. Financial accounting, asset accounting, master data, screen layout, define screen layout for asset depreciation areas. Okay, the fields here are maintained similar to the last configuration activity, but just note settings are standard here and rarely require changes. Note, depreciation fields can be maintained on the main asset number level or the asset sub number level. Click the gray box to select screen layout 1000, then double click field group rules. Here, depreciation field settings can be made at the main asset number level. All right, this concludes our screen layout configuration activities. Now we're moving on to account determination for fixed asset master data. What does account determination control? Which general ledger accounts receive postings from asset transactions? For fixed assets, how is account determination defined in the initial configuration activity? As an object and description. For fixed assets, in the secondary configuration activity for account determination, what is established? The following are assigned accounts, each depreciation area and each business process. In fixed assets, what are account determinations created for? Each asset type, for example, vehicles, machines, IT equipment. That T shouldn't be in there. Menu path to define accounts determination for fixed assets. Financial accounting, asset accounting, organizational structures, asset classes, specify account determination. This table lists the defined account determinations. Here, the number and description of the account determination is established. You can create new, you can edit, copy, or delete. Note, you cannot set up the actual account determination for asset accounting here. This is just the number and description only. Number, description. Account determination relates to asset classes. One account determination can be used in multiple asset classes, FYI. Menu path to modify accounts linked to account determination. Financial accounting, asset accounting, integration with general ledger accounting, assign GL accounts. Select YCOA chart of accounts. This is a list of available account determinations and descriptions that was set up in the previous transaction. Note, an account determination cannot be created or copied in this configuration activity. That would have to happen in the last configuration activity. All right, we're going to click on that gray box to select vehicles, and we're going to double click on balance sheet accounts. This screen shows a list of defined depreciation areas. That's book depreciation, IFRS, and local currency depreciation area. Double click on book depreciation. Okay, you see here, that is a list. That's here the assignment of the accounts are maintained for each depreciation area that posts to the general ledger. Accounts are often the same between depreciation areas, but you can post to different accounts based on the accounting principle used. Note, the various business processes, acquisition, retirement, revaluation, cost portions not capitalized. Balance sheet account acquisition and production costs. This main balance sheet account that is debited when an asset is acquired and credited when an asset is retired. It's that GL account number there. A separate account can be customized for acquisitions from affiliated companies. That's that account number there. If the retirement account assignment, this section, subscreen coding block, this section, loss and gain accounts are posted with the financial result generated when comparing the sales price with the net book value of the asset. A separate account can be entered for asset retirement without revenue, also referred to as scrapping. Double click depreciation. Select depreciation area 1. The depreciation area account assignment screen also groups accounts together that are related to the business process described in the header of that section. For example, ordinary depreciation account assignment. All this stuff has to do with that. Special depreciation account assignment. All this stuff has to do with that. So forth and so on. Here, you must configure the ordinary depreciation account assignment, which is used by the ordinary depreciation run that runs on a monthly basis. Do that here. The accumulated depreciation account for ordinary depreciation is the balance sheet account. That's this guy. The balance sheet account is posted against expenses during the depreciation run. Expense account, expense account. While these expense accounts are posted with the depreciation expense, the system posts the cost center from the asset master record. Happens simultaneously. Special depreciation. Depreciation to be posted above ordinary depreciation, which is all of this, in special cases such as when stipulated by the government. Unplanned depreciation, posted in unplanned cases such as unplanned loss of value of the assets, like obsolescence due to new models. Things become obsolete sometimes. This concludes account assignment for fixed asset accounting. Next, we'll cover number ranges. Focus now, number ranges. What do number ranges define? The numbers assigned when creating asset master records. What should the numbers assigned when creating asset master records be unique to each asset class? Can multiple asset classes share a number range? Technically, yes. Menu path to define asset number ranges: financial accounting, asset accounting, organizational structures, asset classes, define number range interval. Click the Edit Intervals button. SAP chose to call this number range. SAP chose to call this the number range number, but I personally prefer to call it the number range ID. Just makes more sense. This ID is assigned in the asset class. Okay. Now these are the actual number ranges which can be modified here. The system will automatically assign assets the next available number in the actual number range. The only exception is when the external checkbox is checked. Then the user will be required to enter a number manually, and that external checkbox is on to the right over here. Wasn't enough screen. The NR status. The system displays the current number within that range that it's on. So typically, if you're in an active, production environment or something like that, you'll see the whatever number that we're on here. But this is kind of like a test environment to get these screenshots. Okay, this insert line button. See that guy there with the plus mark? It creates new number range ID and actual number ranges. So you get a new row here where you can put the ID in and the number range. So in most of the other configuration activities, when you're setting up number ranges, there's a separate activity to set up the number range number or the ID, and another configuration activity to do this number range numbers, the to and from. But here you're doing them all in one. And you know you can because you got this little plus button here where you can, add stuff. Okay. All right. Note, the asset master number ranges are not transportable like any other number range in the SAP system. Number ranges must be created in each client individually because when you put them in a transport, they tend to scramble and create confusion. So just create it in the new client. Great. This concludes number ranges for fixed assets. Now, let's cover user fields and asset supernumbers. User fields and asset supernumbers. What is used in fixed asset accounting when traditional fields are not enough to capture reporting requirements? User fields. In fixed asset accounting, what are user fields? Four 4-character fields and one 8-character field. Can be defined as required entry, drop-down list provided to make selection. Where can user fields be found? In the Asset Master Record in the Assignments tab. This is the Assignments tab in the Asset Master Record. Here are the user fields, 4-character fields, one 8-character field. Notice it's not called user field here, it's called evaluation group. Why does SAP call it evaluation group? Because sometimes they use different words to describe the same things. These are the user fields referred to as evaluation groups here, in case you didn't catch that. Menu path to define a 4-character field. Financial accounting, asset accounting, master data, user fields define 4-character evaluation groups. Click new entries. Here you define your drop-down list. Okay. In this example, user field 1 here, okay, which is also called the evaluation group 1. This is used to report assets based on a geographical location in this example. All right. See, you got different states there, or cities, excuse me. The 1 here indicates this is user field 1, aka evaluation group 1, which is the first user field out of the 5 user fields. Get it? Okay. And this is the ID and description that'll be available in the drop-down list for that user field. Okay, menu path to configure the 8-character user field. Financial accounting, asset accounting, master data, user fields. Define 8-character evaluation groups. Click new entries. Okay, so here you define your drop-down list again, except we're doing it for the 8-character evaluation group. So here we're using names in this example, okay, because typically you might have a whole lot of names. So you want to use this evaluation group 8, evaluation group 5 for the because you got a lot more digits where you can do a lot more names, right? So yeah, you want to use names for group 5. And note, the 8-character user field will always be evaluation group 5 because the first 4 user fields are evaluation groups 1 through 4. Just in case you wonder, why are we starting on 5? Well, it's the 5th evaluation group. Okay. So what do you do if user fields cannot satisfy reporting requirements? You use the asset supernumber. What is an asset supernumber? Another field that can be used to classify assets by user-defined fields for reporting purposes. How many assets can be assigned to an asset supernumber? Multiple. What is an example of what an asset supernumber can be used for? Machinery pieces in an assembly line. All elements can be reported together using the asset supernumber. Menu path to configure asset supernumber. Financial accounting, asset accounting, master data, user fields, define asset supernumber. Click new entries. Here, you enter the asset supernumbers and their descriptions. Asset supernumbers are defined for large assets that have a number of assets assigned to them, such as an assembly line or an office network or a construction site. Okay. An example that I'll use is an assembly line in an automobile manufacturing plant. These assembly lines can be massive. They're used to install engines and wheels and transmissions and seats and steering wheels and things like this, right? So the assembly line is a large asset. Okay, the assembly line itself. Now, all of the unique machinery used to install the automobile parts are assets assigned to the large asset, if you get my drift. Information. These user fields / evaluation groups and supernumbers can then be used in the asset report to sort, filter, and summarize the data to meet business requirements that otherwise couldn't be met. So this concludes asset fields and supernumbers, but next we'll cover asset numbers, subnumbers, and group numbers. Asset numbers, subnumbers, and group numbers. Where are the three methods that can be used to create assets in fixed asset accounting? Asset numbers, asset subnumbers, asset group numbers. How are asset numbers assigned? Internally by the system automatically from the number range of the asset class, or externally manually entered if that external checkbox is checked. What can asset subnumbers and asset group numbers provide assets? Valuation levels for the assets assigned to them. What kind of assets are asset subnumbers used for? Assets that belong to higher level assets. How should the lower level asset subnumbers be depreciated? Together at the main asset number level. Menu path to create asset subnumbers. Accounting, financial accounting, fixed assets, asset, create subnumber AS11 asset, or use T code AS11. All right, that's the menu path to create asset subnumbers on the right. It's just as I read, this is the actual SAP menu where you navigate through. You could just put up AS11 here, hit enter, or you can go through the SAP menu, accounting, financial accounting, fixed asset, asset, create, subnumber, AS11 asset. That's how that works. Okay. All right. Double click asset here. The information for the asset subnumber is defaulted from the main number because that main number checkbox was checked. Remember that? Okay. The depreciation terms cannot be changed here because the valuation level is the main asset number. Okay. I think that was a checkbox that was checked as well. Okay. You can identify an asset subnumber because it will be the main asset number followed by a dash digit. For example, you got the main asset number here, 100,000. That dash one, that is the sub number. Dash two, that is the sub number. Okay. All right. To use asset group numbers, they must first be enabled at the depreciation area level, then configured. So, menu path to enable group asset numbers at the depreciation level. Financial accounting, asset accounting, general valuation, group assets, specify depreciation areas for group assets. Here, you select the company code and depreciation area for the group assets. Menu path to configure specific asset class for group assets only if needed. Financial accounting, asset accounting, general valuation, group assets, specify asset classes for group assets. Here, you can select asset classes that consist of group assets only by selecting the checkbox. Class consists entirely of group assets. See this checkbox? Just check that guy if needed. Okay, after group assets are enabled, the process to create them is pretty straightforward. Here's the menu path to create group assets. Accounting, financial accounting, fixed assets, asset, create AS21 group asset, or enter T code AS21. Side note here, sub numbers can also be created for group asset numbers. Okay, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your time. And if these videos are helping you on your SAP FICO training journey, please like, share, subscribe, and drop a comment in the chat. Let me know if this information was all clear to you. Thank you all for your time. Until next time, as always, peace.